once again to discuss things.
Alright, well, you want to go ahead and get started then?
Yeah, let's fuck it.
Alright. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Part 2. Joining me today is the one, the only, the realest of them all, the real Manos, aka Justin Cristelli.
Greetings, folks. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm sure they're all doing good. Manos and I are continuing the fan film review series. Manos, what are we reviewing today?
We are reviewing Silver Surfer 1994, I think it's called.
Yeah, and I think that's not even part of the title, but it just kind of immediately grabs your attention when you say fan film 1994 and Silver Surfer all in the same sentence. You're like, what the hell is this gonna be?
Yeah, like, boy, this is gonna be like excellent work.
Yeah, yeah. So let me just ask you, like, you'd never heard of this before. What were your expectations going into it?
I was very curious how somebody from 94 was going, with very little budget, was going to produce a Silver Surfer fan film. So I was very curious. I'd never heard of this before you mentioned it to me today. Mm-hmm. So I was very eager to watch it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's funny to watch this because in 1994, Marvel had their infamous, like, made to keep the rights Fantastic Four film. That was, like, never even, like, meant to be seen by anybody. They just made it for, like, legal purposes. And yet this comes out that same year, and it was kind of meant to be seen by people. So this is, I did some research on this one. This was a film school project that a bunch of guys did that were going to USC. And they had theorized that it would be possible to make a CGI human being and apply a metallic texture to him. And, you know, while they were in the midst of working on this, the very famous movie Terminator 2 Judgment Day came out. And guess what? It's the exact same process. One on a major studio budget, one just a couple kids in film school, you know? But they got a lot of attention out of this. They were offered jobs based on it that, like, kind of never came to fruition once the studios figured out that Silver Surfer was a Marvel character. But interestingly on this, they even got Marvel's permission to shoot this thing, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you know, it was 94. Marvel wasn't quite the giant it is now, so they were able, like, it was easier to get in touch with people, and fan films weren't really the thing that they are now, so it was, like, you know, kind of questionable legal ground if they'd be allowed to make the thing, I guess. So they got in touch and was like, hey, can we do this? And Marvel was like, yeah, sure, knock yourselves out. But that all being said, what'd you think of it, Manos?
I was taken aback by it a little, and it reminded me of productions back during this time in 94, you know, roughly from like 89 to 94. I mean, it looks a lot like the Fantastic Four film from that year. It reminds me quite a bit of Albert Pune, I think his last name is Albert Pune's Captain America film from 1990. It looks a lot like any of those kind of, like, genre films, especially the comic book ones made during this, like, post Batman 89 period with little budget. It fits right in. Like, if this was, if you had told me this was like an independent studio that put this together,
or if it was like a test film, like to see if they could do a Silver Surfer movie back in the 90s or something.
Correct. And it even has, these guys were really kind of like forward thinking, like, you know, in the fact that, you know, Silver Surfer eventually did become a all CG character in the second Fantastic Four movie. Mm-hmm. And we've been seeing a lot of CG characters for good or bad. You know, some are Some are really well done, some aren't.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys were really forward thinking in that, and they even have a stinger.
Yeah.
This has a post credit stinger. Like these guys, like, are they working on Marvel movies now?
I know, right? You gotta
Because
wonder.
it really felt like, oh, I half expected this to happen, and it's happening.
Right? Right? It's pretty nuts, all the effort they go to. And, looking at a fully 3D person, I mean, you gotta think about this. This 94, this is a year before Toy Story, the first fully CG movie. It's kind of crazy that they have a humanoid character that's fully animated, and this is before motion capture technology really took off. So that's individual keyframes that you're talking about, where it's like, does that make any sense to you? Because I always fear I get too jargony when it comes to 3D, since I do some of it.
I am not great at that stuff, but I kind of get the sense that it sounds hard.
Well, okay, like motion capture is what
If you tell me like, oh well, you do the pixelated SGHs 34 20s like per second, like, oh okay, that sounds really hard. Okay, that sounds important.
Well,
Sounds
like,
like a lot of
okay,
work.
so motion capture is what, like, the actor Andy Serkis did to play, Gollum or just recently Snoke in The Last Jedi, okay?
Yeah.
Where they put on the suit and they got, like, the dots everywhere. That's what motion capture is. Whereas keyframing is you have to, like, individually move, like, different points on your model and articulate it pretty much like traditional animation. So one of them is just significantly harder to do and have it look at all natural, because especially with the limited machines that they would have had back in the day, you're just like, you can only see a preview of something so well, so the only way to get a real sense of how it's moving is to get it out to what would be the final version and then see, okay, does this look like it's moving right? Your preview can only do so much because of how taxing that is on the machine. So this is like a really, really impressive feat for 94 when you consider the fact that it is a fan film. Like, I've seen fan films made this year, or, well, not this year, but 2017, that have digital characters in them that do not look as well moving and well polished as this thing is. And so I am very impressed. Like, end of the day, I don't want to, like, toot my own horn too much. I could probably accomplish what they accomplished in this film just on my own machine. But I have, like, almost, 25 years worth of a head start on that, which is just jaw-dropping.
Correct. And yeah, a lot of these guys had to do a lot of this work, kind of maybe invent some of what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but, like, they were on the cutting edge for the
Or at
time.
least figure out like how to do things. Like, oh man, Terminator 2 had just come out, so I'm sure not all that information was public, like how to make everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh fuck, how do we do this part? Okay,
Yeah.
let's just do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is my technical jargon. That's all I can understand.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. It's one of
Yeah,
those
I mean,
things.
this film, I don't know, it did have a weird feeling of nostalgia, even though I was watching it for the first time, because, yeah, like I mentioned, it does look a lot like those films of that time. I mean, I almost feel like I could have just watched this on, there's this cable channel I watch all the time called Comet TV, which is like which is usually old science fiction and horror. It's like Sci-Fi Channel in the first few years, and they show a lot of stuff that looks like this. And I almost expected to see the icon of the channel in the corner.
That'd be cool.
Especially those scenes with the scientists tracking him. It's like, oh man, that looks on par with all this other stuff that was made for maybe $2 million.
Yeah, right.
These guys had.
Yeah, it's really impressive on a technical side, which is, like, even if it had come out this year, I would have found it reasonably impressive on a technical side. At the end of the day, the Silver Surfer, like, he's a little stiff when he's walking. His facial expressions are a little iffy, but I'm terrible at facial expressions. Like, I could do this, but I'd have to, like, get the model. I wouldn't be able to to create a physical model of a character like that. That's just not my field of expertise. So, just even today, I think this holds up reasonably well, and even more so when you actually know the fact when it came out and that it was a fan film. But let's get into the story a little bit, because I mean it is kind of ridiculous, but in the best possible way, where it's a little cheesy, a little fun, that the Silver Surfer came all the way across the galaxy to like help a kid who was getting bullied.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, like, oh yeah, this is also like, as '90s bullies, with the mullet. Yeah, the only thing that was missing was like them mad at the kid for being new in town, which was, according to '90s films, like a sin or something. Like, oh, this new kid, let's fuck him up! How dare he come here?
Yeah, that bastard.
Which was like, I don't know, like maybe filmmakers should watch each other's movies from time to time. Like, hey, have we done this kind of thing before? No, I'm sure no one's done this new kid bullied thing. Let's do it. So, and also I enjoy the fact that it's a Terminator 2 figure, which is an obvious nod to, the company they're keeping. Mm-hmm. I do think it's kind of funny. It kind of, like, his way of being nice to him or being reassuring to him was to turn his figure into him. Like, that's a little egotistical.
A little bit, but at the same time, if you were a kid, that'd be the coolest thing ever.
Yes. It's like, here's the thing you really love. Now it's me.
Yeah, now it's me. I really wonder
Never forget me, kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Norrin Rad, egotist.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't know everything about the Silver Surfer. Does he have, like, magic action figure transform powers?
Well, Silver Surfer has the power cosmic, which is pretty much just the way to say he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading...
do that.
Yeah, I was reading, Dan Slott and Michael Allred's book, and he gets in a fight with, like, a living planet at one point. He's like, I will take all the air out of the atmosphere in this area so sound cannot travel. I'm like, that's Dr. Manhattan level shit right there. So,
I know.
Yeah. So if he wanted to, he could transfix anything, I suppose. I thought it was kind of cool to see the Silver Surfer like doll, because I wonder if they actually went out and got a Silver Surfer figure, because I don't know if that would have existed in the 90s, or if they just like went and got like a a model or like a Ken doll or something and just like painted him silver or some shit like that.
There was a Toy Biz line of Marvel figures that were, I can't remember. They
like
were around
that 12-inch scale kind of thing?
Yeah, that 12-inch scale,
okay.
Yeah. And there was a Silver Surfer one with chrome-plated figure.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, I know Silver Surfer had a cartoon in the 90s. I'm trying to remember when that was airing to see if that could have maybe lined up or whatever, but it just regardless, it just... X-Men. What?
It came not long after Spider-Man and X-Men. Fox had made the experiment to do the Silver Surfer show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, like, that was just kind of cool to see. I liked the way the scientists are trying to figure everything out at, quote-unquote NASA. And this is something Rasco and I have talked about before, where it's like, you don't need a huge budget to accomplish certain things, and set design is one of those things a lot of fan films kind of fail at, but you can get away with so much with just, a blank wall, proper lighting. And this just did a really effective job of that. It's, it's just a dark room, probably like a classroom or something at their school, and they just put a bunch of computers in there, and it's really effective, because that is on some level what you think of when you think of like NASA orbital surveillance and stuff. So I found that really impressive, again, on a technical side.
Exactly. Set designers must sometimes dread the development of technologies, because back in, I don't know, in the 50s, especially 60s, you could just put a whole bunch of big ass computers with these reel to reel audio video strips in the back, and you're like, oh, okay, this is a scientific room.
Yeah,
We
now
have
you
this
gotta
whole-
get like beakers and shit, and you know.
Oh yeah, beakers and like all that. Yeah, like oh great, now everything fits into my phone. We don't really need all this garbage.
Yeah, now you
Um,
gotta find like another room to put it all in. You gotta get more complex machinery.
I love that because I love that scene in Winter Soldier when Cap and Black Widow go into that old
Oh yeah,
abandoned
yeah.
room and has all those old kind of computers laying around dusty. It's like, yeah, that's what that shit used to look like.
Yeah, totally. I also like just the scene of them all like working to figure out what Silver Surfer is as he's coming into the solar system. I thought that was really cool because it's like that is kind of the fear, as it were, of like, you know, getting hit by an asteroid or whatever. It's like, what if you find out when it's too late to do anything about it? Like, not like too late as in it would take a month to build a rocket and it'll be here in like 3 weeks, but like too late as in by the time we found out, it's almost on top of us, and they got like 40 seconds before it hits Earth. I thought
Yeah,
that
there's
was-
there's no time to call like the nearest oil rig guys and get Bruce Willis. You know,
I
there's
know, right?
yeah.
I thought that was just really cool, and it just like it gives you this sense of, oh my god, what's going to happen. I almost wish the Silver Surfer title came after the fact, but that being said, I still knew what I was watching because the title on YouTube. But like it would have worked really well as a reveal, wouldn't it? If you didn't know what you were watching, you didn't have Silver Surfer title sequence beforehand. Like that was it was a pretty intense kind of scene, and you know, if it had been cut differently so that you didn't see the title, or maybe that was like the prologue to a Silver Surfer film or a Fantastic Four film, you could be like legit, you know, shocked about what's about to happen.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
You could have edited this into that Fantastic Four film as a as a stinger.
Oh man, the stinger with its own stinger.
Yeah, it wouldn't even look any different. Like,
Uh-huh.
oh man, they were gonna do the Silver Surfer thing next.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other joke you can make about this is like, enjoy the toy, kid. Galactus will be here in a week. Oh man. Otherwise, I don't know. There's a lot to like about this one. I'm trying to think about anything really to complain about, and I think just given when it came out, this is the best it could have possibly been.
Agreed, and you know, fan films weren't as prevalent. You know, they existed, of course, but you know, anybody can like get some tech together and make some sort of fan film, and it's become a big popular thing. But yeah, you had to really get a lot of work done. It was a little bit heavier. It was a little bit more intense to do. So when you see one of these older ones and what they can accomplish, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed on the quality of it because you can just tell by looking at it that it was meant to be in a better quality. It's got like the double letterbox kind of thing when you watch it on YouTube, where it's got side letterboxes on YouTube, but then it's got its own original letterboxes on the top and bottom. Like I wish I could find, this is just something I tend to have with a lot of these older fan films because. Back in December, Rasco and I talked about the Lobo Paramilitary Christmas special, and that came out in like 2002, and it was like obviously meant to be of higher quality. It's just the way it survived until it got uploaded to YouTube. Just the quality dropped because back in the day, sharing stuff on the internet, no one knew what the hell they were doing when they were thinking about quality. So it's just like I wish I could see this in the original quality. There needs to be a charity that tries to preserve fan films in their highest possible quality and stuff like that. I would donate to that because it's just neat to see something this dated, but it's so cool that they were able to get it all together. You gotta really respect the effort here. Oh man. I don't know. We need something else. We need to go for a couple more minutes, Manos.
Okay. I don't know if I have anything else really to describe about this. I really, yeah, I don't know if I have anything else really to add about this one. It's,
Ah, damn.
let's, hey, all right, let's, let's, let's theorize for a second. If, the makers of the Fantastic Four film from, 90 had been able to, like, keep the rights or something like that, do you think Silver Surfer would have been used in the next one? The Silver Surfer Galactus story.
I mean, I could see it happening. It'd be interesting to see if they would try to go with an all digital Silver Surfer back in the '90s, like this does. Like this is a 5-minute film, and Silver Surfer's on screen for 2 minutes max.
I don't even know if it's even 2 minutes. That was pretty.
Yeah,
that was pretty quick.
So like I imagine that it's probably just not feasible to do him digitally in a feature film. But though this did get a lot of attention, like I said, like these guys that made this got meetings with Hollywood executives and stuff, and they were offered films until like the guys found out, Marvel owns the character. Well, never mind. We're gonna go talk to Marvel, and it just like. So I don't know. There was definitely an interest in Silver Surfer and the idea of how feasible it could be to do.
That seems a little unfair because, like, oh yeah, well, okay, we can't do that film, but this is what we can do.
Yeah.
we can make a movie.
Yeah, it's how Hollywood works, man. They're idiots, except for the times they turn out to do something genius, right?
Yeah, and then they knew all along.
Yep. Yep. Story of Deadpool. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I really, I'm not a huge Fantastic Four guy, but reading Dan Slott and Mike Allred's Silver Surfer, I could go for a Silver Surfer movie. Like, I don't even care. Introduce him with Fantastic Four. I don't give a fuck. I could go for a Silver Surfer movie because there's just some neat stuff you can do with that character.
I agree. One of my first exposures to Silver Surfer was this Richard Gere film called Breathless, where he is a huge Silver Surfer fan. And he talks about the Silver Surfer all throughout the movie. It's so funny. And he even gets an argument. He gets an argument with this kid who thinks the Surfer is stupid, and shouldn't protect humanity. Because people treat him like shit and don't care. Like, why should he care? And like he goes like ape shit all over the kid because of that. Like, and it's an okay film, but I remember watching that. Like, hey, I remember I connected that with that film a lot. Like, oh, this grown up dude talking about comics, and it's like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah. I think I found my way. So yeah, that's one of my first few because, God, how often did I read? Surfer didn't really appear that much in Fantastic Four when I was reading him.
Well, I don't think he's really connected to him all that much past the origin. It's just neat. Like, the more I find out about Silver Surfer, the more I like him. Like, I remember, Stan Lee is usually so fast and loose with what he'll give Jack Kirby credit for, but I remember seeing him in an interview just straight give Jack Kirby credit for creating the Silver Surfer because he's like, I handed Jack the script that called for Galactus to show up, and the Fantastic Four were worried about him because they detected him coming. They weren't sure what to do. And then he gave me back the pages, and there's this guy on a surfboard, and I'm supposed to fill in the dialogue, and I'm like, Jack, who's this? And he goes, oh, I figured this guy like Galactus, he should have a herald that comes and announces the coming of Galactus. So Jack Kirby just out of nowhere fucking created the character on a whim, and he's of course the most interesting thing about Galactus is the Silver Surfer.
And that's one of the troubling things about him. Like, after that, a lot of people don't know much about him, and I guess there's been some difficulty some fans have had relating to him in that regard, because sometimes he comes off so aloof and.
And I like this fan film because it shows that, given the right characterization, Silver Surfer can be like a very human character. Like this is just endearing to. There's something about just seeing superheroes save people that's like, you don't want to read it every single week in the comics because it's going to get stale fast. But just when you see it in like certain things, it's just really enjoyable when like that's all the story is. It's just the superhero saving the person, you know?
Well, the thing about Surfer, and you brought up Dr. Manhattan a little bit earlier, and I think that's a pretty apt comparison, really. I know he's based on another character, and some people compare him to Superman, but I don't know. I mean, I think him and Surfer have a lot in common as far as like their power sets, and I've always liked Surfer better just as I mean, despite how powerful he is, he still cares about even things that would seem insignificant. Which is why I think he's so much more of a heroic character than like Dr. Manhattan would be, because he's a prick who doesn't think anything matters.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that like he was purposefully characterized very, very
and that's
differently.
The point, yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting that you have this character who has like this god level power and can live forever and all this stuff, and he's just so damn human. And I like that this kind of shows that he's got a very clear soft spot for kids kind of thing, and I think that I highly recommend you check out the Dan Slott Michael Allred book, because it is good.
It is really good.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and go on to ratings then. Manos, what will you rate this fan film?
Okay, I give it... I will definitely give this 5 out of 5 ripped off surfer arms. Ripped off surfer arms.
Okay. Because the struggle at the end. It took me a minute to get that. Okay. I will give this 5 out of 5 as well. There's really nothing to complain about here, given the context. I'll give this 5 out of 5 Terminator 2 dolls. Battle damaged Arnold Schwarzenegger dolls. There we go. Okay, Manos, yes. What are we going to be talking about next time?
All right, I have thought long and hard about this, and I would definitely like to do a. Let's see. There's this Jessica Jones fan film that I saw a few years ago, and I think I'd like to talk about it.
Okay, sounds good. Do you know the title off the top of your head?
Do not know. I'll have to look it up.
Okay. I'll just do that real quick so I can give people the name of it.
Okay.
Kilgrave, the Purple Man, a Marvel fan film, maybe?
Nope.
Okay.
Hold on. I have it in my favorites.
Okay.
That I favored literally years ago. Let me see. Jessica Jones fan film.
Jessica Jones, you know who I am. Hopefully not. That's only a minute. That'll be hard to talk about.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna have to. I keep seeing all the modern stuff about it. Do you want to? Let's see. Maybe we can hold off on this one.
Oh no, we can do it. It'll be fine.
Because I was going to bring up, like, we could talk about the. Wow, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Damn, real world adaptations.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know, it's like harder to find now. Hey, oh wait. Oh, I found it right here. Jessica Jones Interrogation. Okay.
Yep, there it is. Cool. Jessica Jones Interrogation by Surfing and Her. Okay.
Surfing and Her.
Ah, ha ha. Silver Surfer, Surfing and Her. Ha ha ha.
Well, that's a weird coincidence I did not purposely try.
Yeah, sure. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay. Everyone, thanks very much. Join us for Jessica Jones Interrogation next week. Until then, I'm the Philosopher.
And I'm the Realist.
And we are your geeky gentlemen. And we will be discussing things.